And we are back here on PAWL Heatwave in what is expected to be an amazing match. The Intercontinental Champion Antonio Cesaro versus CM Punk. And right away, these two men getting into action. CM Punk ducking under Cesaro and ducking him under again. And they run into each other. And now Cesaro blocks that. Headlock now and a rake of the eyes to the self-proclaimed best in the world. Forearm to the back. And now Cesaro with a belly-to-belly suplex. Of course, Cesaro, as we said earlier in part 1, defeating Chris Jericho last week on Heatwave in an amazing match. Go back and check out Heatwave episode 1 and Superstars of Today episode 2 if you haven't already. Also check out part 1 of this broadcast. And a nice side rushing leg sweep from Antonio Cesaro. Excuse me there. So now Punk, a wild clothesline as Cesaro dunks underneath it and a big German suplex. Now Cesaro's side headlock, and Punk with a big elbow knocking him down. Of course, Cesaro more of a brawler, CM Punk more of an aerial and submission style wrestler. Both of these men wrestle around on the independent circuit before making it to the big league. CM Punk, a former world champion, Cesaro, a former United States champion, and of course a current Intercontinental champion, but has never been a world champion. But with Cesaro's skill sets, I gotta believe that it's just a matter of time before he becomes a world champion. And CM Punk reverses that with a nice elbow there. Of course, Punk lost the 6-man over-the-top rope battle royal to determine the #1 contender for Brock Lesnar's PAWL Championship at No Forgiveness 1 in 20 days. Of course, the winner of that was John Cena, who will be facing The Miz in our main event. Also, Brock Lesnar, the champion, will be facing Randy Orton later tonight. And of course, Fandango facing Chris Jericho in the second half of tonight's 4-man #1 contenders Intercontinental Championship tournament. Of course, Biggie Langston looked like he was building momentum to get a win over Zack Ryder, but Fandango, who lost to Biggie Langston last night, came out, distracted him, and Zack Ryder rolled Biggie up for the victory. So Zack Ryder is going to face the winner of Chris Jericho Fandango next week on Heatwave to see who will face Cesaro at No Forgiveness for the IC title. But anyway, back to this action featuring the Intercontinental Champion. A nice back suplex by Antonio Cesaro. Cesaro looking for a punch. Both men get blocked, and Cesaro ends up landing the punch. Now Cesaro, a headbutt to the shoulder. Of course, Cesaro likes to hit that big uppercut and the neutralizer. Punk likes to hit the go to sleep and likes to make you tap out with an Anaconda Vice. And now CM Punk looking for some kicks, but no, Cesaro connects with a big boot. Of course, a lot of people like CM Punk. I just saw a sign that said best in the world in the crowd. And so now Cesaro blocks it with a waist lock, and CM Punk now with a hip toss. Modified toss. And Punk whipped into the corner, and a big boot there. CM Punk gets grounded. Now Cesaro looking for the Cesaro swing. And Cesaro swinging Punk around in a few rotations there. A move that is adored by the fans, the Cesaro swing. And now, double underhook, and CM Punk fights out of it with a back drop here. And now Punk taking control of that head. And nice back suplex by CM Punk. Now Punk picks him up. Waist lock and a drop kick to the back of the head. That back and neck area. Might have caught him on the head as well. And now Cesaro. A boot, but no, CM Punk. Looks like Cesaro went to the well once too often. Now CM Punk going on the top rope. Cesaro is a long way away. And CM Punk with a nice move there. Cesaro almost way across the ring, and now cover 1 and a kick out by Cesaro. This is expected to be a good match, and it has been so far. Cesaro with a nice elbow. No, Punk reverses now. Now CM Punk with some kicks to Cesaro's face, right on the nose and eyes. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta be one of the most painful moves. Now Cesaro fighting back with a big elbow. Right on the bridge of the nose. And now Cesaro with this unique slam here. Interesting move by Cesaro, and it has to be effective there. And now Punk just shoving him off. Wild clothesline missed. Now Cesaro with a back suplex. And now, no, Punk reverses. Punch to the gut. Now Punk dragging him to the ropes. Nope, putting him in the turnbuckle now. Hammering away. No, Cesaro is able to counter and throw Punk into the turnbuckle. No, Punk counters that big boot again. Cesaro keeps trying for that big boot in the corner. And twice now Punk has been able to counter it. Punk just going with some kicks. And throwing Cesaro up against the ropes now. And a nice neck breaker there by CM Punk. And now Punk with a moonsault. And a nice moonsault there and a pin. And Cesaro kicks out at one. Cesaro showing some resiliency here. Now catches that kick. And a dragon screw. Now Punk counters with shots. And now kicking away at Antonio Cesaro. With those MMA-like kicks from CM Punk. And now Punk blocks one of those uppercuts. Is able to get a shot in, but Cesaro blocks it. I don't know if you want to brawl with Antonio Cesaro, the Swiss sensation. Cesaro ducks that clothesline and a nice German suplex there. Right now picking him up. And looking for that big throw. And that big gut wrench throw. I know I called it a German, but it's a gut wrench throw. Connects. Remember, he hit Jericho with it on the outside last week in their match. Cover now. One. No, a kick out. No, in the big uppercut. The big uppercut connects. CM Punk may be knocked out, but Cesaro's kind of hesitating. Is pulling him towards the center of the ring. Maybe giving some Punk some recovery time to cover, and Punk is able to kick out. When you have somebody like CM Punk in there and you hit a big move on him, you need to go for the pin right away. He was worried about Punk getting the ropes. Hold the arm and hook the outer leg. You don't need to be dragging him inside and giving him moments to rest. Punk might not have been able to kick out of Cesaro for the cover immediately, but now Punk going to the top rope. Hitting Cesaro. And another one of those nice neck breakers from the top. Now Punk going to the top again. And another moonsault that connects. Punk doing some aerial moves here to Cesaro. And now Punk whipping him into the turnbuckle. No, Cesaro gets out of it. Just sticking those feet up. And now Cesaro with a nice head and arm known in the amateur wrestling style move. And Cesaro with a big punch there. Working the arm, but no, CM Punk and nice counter to that arm and an enziguri. Interesting counter there from CM Punk. Of course knows judo and boxing, things like that. And a nice counter there. Cesaro lifting him up, but no, Punk lifts him up. And a backbreaker. A lot of counters in this match. A lot of these men know a lot of counters. Both of these men have been wrestling upwards of a decade. Now Punk lifting Cesaro up. What's he thinking here? Punk? Super Hurricanrana. A Super Hurricanrana for Punk. Big move there. That might finish Cesaro off in a leg drop. Going for the cover now. 1, 2. No, Cesaro kicks out. Great resiliency by Cesaro. And now blocks that attempted shot by Punk. Punk gets out of the way of that headbutt. And Punk lifts him up. Go to sleep. And the go to sleep connects. The GTS. CM Punk. 1, 2. No! Cesaro kicks out. Cesaro kicks out of the GTS. What resiliency by Cesaro, and now Punk's getting all mad. Running the ropes. And now Punk going on the outside. Not a lot of people can kick it out of the GTS. Cesaro kicked out the Codebreaker last week. GTS this week. Great resiliency shown by the Swiss sensation. And now Punk picks him up. Rolls him up now. But a rope break. Cesaro able to grab those ropes. Now Punk hammering away. Probably still frustrated because he hit Cesaro with his best shot. And Cesaro kicked out. What is it going to take for these two men to put each other away? What a match we're having here on Heatwave. Only in the PAWL. Now Cesaro going for a torture rack. Antonio. Is he going to make Punk tap out with a torture rack? The torture rack. Is Punk going to tap out? Punk in a very vulnerable position. But no, Cesaro just trying to wear down that body. I don't know if he thought he could get Punk because he hadn't tapped out yet. And just throwing Punk into that turnbuckle. Cesaro, what's he thinking? No, Punk able to counter. And the Impaler DDT connects. And now going for the cover. 1, 2, no. And now Punk whipping him into the turnbuckle. And double knees to the face. Punk. And Punk kick to the gut. Now an Irish whip. And a big wheel kick there. And another one. And a big neck breaker. And he likes to either set this up with the knee bulldog combination or the Macho Man elbow. Let's see what he decides. Looks like he's going to go for the knee bulldog combination. Whips him into the ropes. Charging for the knee, but the ref gets hit. And wait, there's Batista. Batista hands Cesaro a chair and he hits Punk. Punk's knocked out. Why is Batista out here? Batista, one of the participants in the 6-man over-the-top rope battle royal last night. 1, 2, 3. I meant last week. But Batista just caused Punk to lose. Why did Batista cause Punk to lose? Batista just cost Punk the match and Cesaro wins. And now Michael Cole standing by with The Miz. So it looks like with that plan that the Big Show and Miz set up earlier, Miz isn't worried about Cena at all. But why did Big Show why did Batista cause CM Punk to lose? They haven't really had a history, except for a World Championship match a few years ago in the World Wrestling Entertainment. But of course, we're different than WWE. We're a professional wrestling league, not a sports entertainment league. And also at this time, I'm being reminded that no copyright infringement is intended. But why would Batista attack Punk? Cost him the match? Is he sided with Antonio Cesaro, or does he just have a vendetta against Punk? Guess we'll have to find out next week. But now we are set for our other semifinal match for the Intercontinental Championship #1 Contenders Tournament. Of course, Zack Ryder won earlier when this man Fandango, who lost to Big E Langston last week on Heatwave Episode 1, came out and distracted Big E, allowing Ryder to roll him up for the victory. And if I was Fandango, I'd watch my back, because I won't be surprised if Big E came out here if he's well enough after that match. But so anyway, it'll be Fandango versus Chris Jericho, where the winner will face Zack Ryder next week in the finals. And the winner of that will face Antonio Cesaro for the Intercontinental Championship in 20 days, 3 weeks, at No Forgiveness 1. Of course, Fandango, an expert in ballroom dancing. Got that valet with him that he likes to dance with into the ring. Got that big statue of him posing in the background that lights up. There's that statue. I wonder how much that thing cost. But I tell you what, if you want to see stuff lighting up, just wait for Chris Jericho's jacket. I wonder what has more lights, that Fandango pose thing or Chris Jericho's light jacket. We'll have to see his Y2J making his way to the ring. Of course, last week on Heatwave, he lost in a tremendous match to Antonio Cesaro, who's been on a roll, defeating Chris Jericho last week and CM Punk this week, albeit with some help from Batista. But last week he beat Chris Jericho clean, if you will, pinning him in the middle of the ring with no controversy, defeating 2 former world champions in back-to-back weeks. If I didn't say it in this part, I said it in the last part. Cesaro has not been a world champion, but I mean, by his talent looking, he's already the Intercontinental Champion, which many people say is a stepping stone to the PAWL Championship. I mean, he's got to be close to winning the or to getting at least the championship match. Cesaro is a great talent. Like I said last week and on Superstars today, a lot of great talent here in the Professional Wrestling Association League. Or the Professional Association Wrestling League. Excuse me. When Jericho makes his way to the ring, it looks like we're right about ready to get this match underway. Fandango versus Chris Jericho. I wonder if I could get one of those light-up jackets. It'd really be fun to wear around. But anyway, looks like both men have gone to their corners respectively, and we're ready to get this match underway. Immediately they attack each other. They both miss. Jericho now with a waist lock. No Fandango with that version of a roll there. We got an I Dig Crazy Chick sign. That's just great. And a bunch of Dolph Ziggler fans in the front row. But anyway, Fandango with a side headlock. And a big elbow to Fandango by Chris Jericho. Y2J, former World Heavyweight Champion. Fandango has not won a title yet. But he is a talented superstar. If he wins this match and then beats Zack Ryder, he'll have a chance to win a title. The Intercontinental Championship. Now Fandango just hammering away on Chris Jericho, slamming his face into the mat. Excuse me, I'm having some mic difficulties again. And a nice move there by Jericho, a side Russian leg sweep by Y2J. Of course, the first undisputed champion in World Wrestling Entertainment. A television champion in World Championship Wrestling. I believe also in Extreme Championship Wrestling, he was a television champion. Also has held this championship, the Intercontinental Championship, 9 times. So looking to become a 10-time Intercontinental Champion. Anyway, now Fandango getting to this action. No, Jericho reverses it. And a nice move there by Y2J. And Jericho now with a nice forearm. No Fandango with a nice reversal. No, Jericho gets out of the way. No, Jericho blocks it. Now Fandango picking him up. And Jericho blocks it again. And a nice chop there, knocking him down. Now Fandango, no, a punch. Catching Jericho. Now forearm backing him up into the ropes. But Jericho able to get those knees up, and a nice forearm smash there for Chris Jericho. Forearm smash of his own. Now Jericho rolls up Fandango. 1. No, a kick out. Now a few chops there. I don't think at this point in the match a roll-up could quite catch him unless it was a very convincing one, or one with grabbing the tights a lot. Very tight roll-up, I guess I should say. And now Jericho using those ropes to his advantage, trying to choke Fandango. And now Jericho looking for the walls. Looking for the walls. Looking to end it early. Walls of Jericho. Locked in. Has he done enough damage to that lower back, though, to make Fandango tap? No, I guess he doesn't. I guess he's realized that he might not be able to make him tap quite yet. But Fandango turns around in a nice big forearm there. And now Jericho with a punch. And now blocking it. Fandango with a kick. And now Jericho blocking that chop. And now blocking his drop kick attempt. Jericho celebrating. Trying to get the crowd fired up on his side. Build some momentum. Top rope. Jericho. But no, Fandango catches him. And throws him down. Now Fandango just punches to the head. Attacking the head there. Now Fandango picks up Chris Jericho. Side headlock. And a nice jawbreaker there. And now leg drop. Of course, Fandango likes to finish off his opponents with a top rope leg drop. And now looking for a springboard leg drop, and it doesn't connect. Fandango gets out of that and counters with a side Russian leg sweep. Jericho shoves him off now. Fandango blocks it. And Jericho counters with a single leg now. Now picks him up. No, Fandango counters with a knee to the gut. Jericho's groggy. And nice Northern Light suplex there. And now what is Fandango thinking? Nice side Russian leg sweep. A little dance theatric there. And now going for the pin. 1, 2. No. Jericho kicks out. Jericho now. Nice hit there. Sizing each other up. Fandango saying bring it on. But wait, there's Big E. Fandango distracted Big E earlier in the night. And Big E does the same thing. I guess it's treat unto others how you want to be treated. As Fandango did the exact same to Big E earlier in the night. Zack Ryder rolled him up for the win. And now Chris Jericho with a code breaker. Jericho dragging Fandango into the center rope, and away from the ropes, and now it looks like that Codebreaker busted up in Fandango. 1, 2, 3. And Big E, I guess, turned the tables. As Fandango did that exact same thing earlier, and they're not distracting Big E and letting Ryder roll him up. This time, Big E distracted Fandango. Jericho capitalized with a Codebreaker. And now we know, next week, the finals of the Intercontinental Championship #1 Contenders Tournament. It'll be Chris Jericho, Y2J, versus the Woo Kid, Zack Ryder. But I got a feeling that this thing between Big E and Fandango is far from finished. Maybe another match? I don't know, but it's not. This is far from the end of Big E versus Fandango. As you see that Codebreaker busted him open. But Jericho's going to be in the finals of the Intercontinental Championship #1 Contenders Tournament. We still have 2 great matches left, including PWL Champion Brock Lesnar in action as Heatwave rolls on live.